Jeff's Football Channel, and today we are back with this week's match preview for the Manchester United versus Reading game, of course, in the FA Cup. Now, we will have a watch along for this game. Details are on my side, so the stream will start about 7:30ish with kickoff being at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. So please do tune in for that. Be there or be square, as the cool kids say. I gotta drink some water because my throat is still hurting me. Definitely got something wrong with it, but we're cool cats, so we move. Let me just tweet out the stream. There we go. So yeah, so obviously FA Cup against Reading. To me, well, it goes without saying it's a must-win. It's a competition that Manchester United are capable of winning, and a competition I think Manchester United should be looking to try and win. Obviously, we should be trying to win every competition we're in at this season. While the Premier League is probably, definitely is out of reach. And while it was nice, and it is nice to say we could fight for it, let's be realistic. We were never going to. But just like we are seeing right now with the League Cup, obviously we've got a 3-0 lead going into the second leg of that semi-final. Looks like we're going to be through to the final of the League Cup. I think the FA Cup is another competition which we should be looking to try and go all the way in. How are we, Munzy, mate? How are we? When you're looking at Manchester United and in our FA Cup run so far, we have obviously only played one game. That was in the third round, beating Everton 3-1 in what was a convincing performance, really. We did deserve to win that game. I do think, obviously, that was we saw that David De Gea mistake, and I said it after the game, and I'll say it here again now. If it wasn't for that De Gea mistake, I feel like we could have seen an even more convincing Manchester United performance. And maybe have even scored far more goals, because at 1-0, Everton had to come out a little bit more and couldn't just sit back and defend. And that De Gea mistake gave Everton that equaliser, and that allowed them to step back and defend a little again for a long duration of the game. And it was only once we scored again that Everton once again had to come out, and obviously Marcus Rashford then scored that 90th minute penalty. So we've just had some news from Manchester United as we've been live, and that is that Charlie Savage has secured a loan move to League One side Forest Green, obviously now managed by Darren Ferguson. No, Duncan Ferguson. I always get those two confused. Not face-wise, just name-wise. But yeah, now Duncan Ferguson is the manager of Forest Green, and he has just signed Charlie Savage on loan, which is a good move for Charlie Savage, I think. So yeah, last FA Cup game, we beat Everton convincingly. And last game in general, obviously, was that League Cup semi-final, first leg, in which we won 3-0. There's not much to say about it, really. We're better than Nottingham Forest. We knew that going into the game. We know that after the game. And realistically, that 3-0 sort of scoreline should be what we should be aiming to replicate in this FA Cup 4th round tie. And look, Munzy says 4-0, and that's kind of got to be the expectation here, to try and win this game 4 or so 0. Because Reading just aren't on our level. They're really, really not at all. Now, I don't know much about Reading at all, so I haven't got the team used for them. I don't know about who's their normal players are, who they've got out injured. Manchester United usually right in there on the Man United official website. They usually have a little section at the bottom about the opposition. They didn't for this game. I went on the Reading website. They had nothing about team news. So I'm not sure where Reading are looking like at the moment, or where they are player-wise and fitness-wise. But when it comes to Manchester United, this is how we look. Dalot and Anthony Martial are both definitely out for this game, both with thigh injuries. Really, really not looking good. Anthony Martial, look, he's an unbelievable player for me. And there's a reason why when Martial starts, we've won every game. We've got a 100% win ratio, a record, when Anthony Martial has started for Manchester United. That is a fact. But the issue Manchester United have is Anthony Martial is missing far too many games. Whether that's because he's been rushed back from injury when we didn't have Weghorst and he wasn't able to fully recover. Whether that's because he's massively injury prone, I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of both. But Martial keep getting injured is not very good because he is an important first team player. And I love Martial. But you cannot have a player like Martial who is constantly injured. We had it the same with Eric Bailly. And I mean, Bailly isn't a very good centre back either way, and I've said that so many times. I don't think he's very good. But my big issue with Bailly was never necessarily even just his ability and his quality, was his availability. He was never available, and that's why I was pushing for him to be sold. Now Martial is a player with a lot of ability, which makes me want to keep him because he's one of my favourite players. But that availability is a massive issue. He's got to be available more often. And he will be a miss today. Luke Shaw and Jadon Sancho, looking at their availability for the game. Shaw was ill against Nottingham Forest, so he wasn't even in the squad. And there's been no updates whether or not he will be officially back or not. So he could be available, he could not be. Either way, I wouldn't play him. I think Malacia has done well when he's played this year. He's been an absolute bargain for about 14, 15 million pounds. And even if Luke Shaw is available, have him on the bench, sure, but I wouldn't be playing him. And Jadon Sancho, we could be seeing the return of Jadon Sancho finally. Obviously, he's had this long spell out of the first team, out of the squad. But the reports are that he has been back in training. He's looking good. Erik ten Hag didn't comment, but all the rumours are that he could be available. He could be available for this game today, which if he is, that would be fantastic to see him back. And I think it would be a good opportunity and good game to ease him back into the Manchester United's first team with a game against a side that are not great. Let's be real here. Reading aren't the greatest of teams in the world. They sit 14th in the championship, very much mid-table championship side. While we're a team that have aspirations to be pushing for league titles, Champions League football. So this game should be a walkover, really, for Manchester United. And as such, being able to play Jadon Sancho in this game for, let's say, 60 minutes, then taking him off, and then against Nottingham Forest midweek, where we've already got a 3-0 lead, throw him into that game, building that match fitness and match readiness once again. I think that, like I said, will be very beneficial to Jadon Sancho. When it comes to the team, I think Erik ten Hag will actually use in this game. This is it. I think he will go fairly full strength. I do think Erik ten Hag clearly wants to win this competition, wants to win every competition we're in, wants to win as many trophies as possible, and that's obviously a good sign. And I think with that Nottingham Forest game pretty much wrapped up, having taken a 3-0 lead to Old Trafford, chances are we're not going to lose that game, and chances are we are going to be able to rotate in that game. So I do imagine Erik ten Hag might go pretty full strength here. A little bit of rotation, so I think Lindelof might keep his place over Raphael Varane, simply because we know Varane is somewhat injury prone. Lindelof's playing well. Let the boy play. And more or less, that's the only change I really see happening. Like I said, Luke Shaw, we don't know if he's fit. We don't know if he's unavailable. So I think he will just stick with Tyrell Malacia. And generally, I think he will stick with the same team that played against Nottingham Forest and won 3-0. And while I don't think that's a bad idea, I don't agree with it. Personally, I would go for this. I would rotate. I would give Jack Butland his first start for Manchester United. He's been in training. He's doing well. Him or Tom Heaton can play for me. I don't really care which one. I've thrown Jack Butland in there. But if it's Tom Heaton, it's Tom Heaton. Like I say, I don't care who starts in goal. I just don't beat De Gea. I just don't think De Gea needs to play. Just gives a chance to let some of the other lads have a go. Wan-Bissaka kind of has to play at right back. It could be Brandon Williams, but I don't want to play Brandon Williams. He is rubbish, isn't he? And does he have a future at Manchester United? I would argue not. So I would personally start Wan-Bissaka still. And maybe you start Brandon Williams against Nottingham Forest in that League Cup semi-final. Given we're already 3-0 up, what's the worst that can happen in that game? Harry Maguire, Lindelof and Malacia, and then make up the rest of the back four. If you've changed Malacia for Luke Shaw, that's a back four that's given a lot of Manchester United fans nightmares under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reign. But generally, it's a good back four. And while we take the piss out of it a lot, especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for a period of time, statistically, they were one of the best defences in the Premier League, and I believe in Europe as well. If I remember correctly, in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season, we actually had statistically one of the best defences in the world in terms of goals conceded, clean sheets, and so on. So it can do a job, especially against Reading. McTominay and Fred, not great, but I do just want to give Casemiro that bit of a rest. Same with Eriksen. And again, they can come on should they need to be. Again, just trying to share some minutes around, really. And then in that front line, I've gone for Alejandro Garnacho on the left, Pellistri on the right, making his first start for Manchester United in a professional and competitive game, with Bruno Fernandes at number 10 and Marcus Rashford at number 9. For me, I want to, like I said, I want to get some minutes out there. I want to give these young players an opportunity to play. And I think Pellistri and Garnacho deserves a chance to start, especially Pellistri at the moment. I think he's playing well whenever he's played. I think he's a bright player. I think he's a player that he's showing his quality at the moment, and showing why we signed him when we did, 2-3 years ago, for the fee and the price tag we did. He's a Uruguayan international. He played at the World Cup. This kid is clearly good enough. We've just got to give him that opportunity to show that. Erik ten Hag spoke in his press conference earlier and essentially ruled out any ideas that Pellistri would be leaving on loan this winter or this January, this month. So if that's the case, and if he's not going to be leaving, give him some minutes. Give him a start. Let's see how well he gets on, because, like I say, whenever he comes on, whenever he gets given an opportunity, I think he looks bright. I think he looks promising and he looks dangerous. And I want to see Pellistri be used more. Like I said, Garnacho, we've seen him used quite a lot. Hasn't started loads of games still. So just give him a chance to start a game, see how he gets on. He's a bright player, Alejandro Garnacho, and I think his ceiling is so high. He looks fantastic, and I just want to see him play more often. And then Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford up top. I just kind of want to. We needed a bit of experience. We need a bit of leadership in that team. I think Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford brings that first team quality as well. As well as that, we don't have a luxurious amount of options for players that can play as that number 9. Elanga could have played there, but I haven't been a huge fan of Elanga, especially up top. So it was either him or Weghorst with Martial being out, and I've just gone for Rashford. And with Bruno, he's just a very, very good player. Donny van der Beek obviously got that season-ending injury. Big miss him, but what can you do? You've got to push on, and there's no one else really that can play that number 10 role. Potentially, you could go with Jadon Sancho if he is available, but again, no one's 100% sure Erik ten Hag is kind of trying to keep that on the low down. Not going to kind of get anyone's hopes up. When Sancho's available, when Sancho's back, he'll be back. And then we can start seeing him thrown to this team and maybe used as that number 10 at times. But for now, I'm not going to throw Jadon Sancho's name into any book because it's just simply so premature at the moment to do so. So, I mean, look, Manchester United, there's no ifs and buts about it. We've got to win this game. Whether or not you believe we can and we can win the FA Cup is kind of irrelevant in a game like this. We are playing Reading. They are 14th in the Championship. They are a mid-table Championship side. And we should remember that. They are nothing less than... Well, they're look, it's going to be offensive. It is offensive. But there should be no competition for Manchester United, really. We are the better team. And that should be proved. We should prove that in this game. And I think under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is a game I think we might have struggled in. But I have absolutely no doubts under Erik ten Hag we will win this game. And we will put in a good performance. And we will probably win the game quite comfortably, regardless of what lineup we put out. And because of that, I'm not really that worried about the game. And that's why I'm going for quite a convincing win, which is going to be, I'm going to go for a 3-0. Could be 4-0, like Munzi has said in the live chat. I'm going to go for a 4-0. I think Manchester United win it, and I think we win it quite comfortably, to be honest. Like I say, Reading aren't all that. Reading really aren't all that. And if we don't beat them, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't know what to say if we don't beat Reading, because they are not very good. They're really not. But look, that is going to be it from me today. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, we do have a watch along for this game. Details are on my side. Kickoff is at 7:30, and stream will start at 7:30 with kickoff at 8 o'clock. So please do tune in for that. But yeah, without further ado, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.